Hey folks, thanks for joining me today. So, this is the last of my mini Valentine's specials, part of the series. And I saved this one for last because it's got to be my favorite. So, that's why I saved it for last. So, before I get started, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thanks for joining me. So this is a heart mold that I made from the Happy Dotting Company. I used Alcohol 30, and if you're interested in learning how to make rocks, there is a link in my description to go to an how-to video that I have prepared a few years ago, actually. So, and it's been brought to my attention that my blending brush video has somehow disappeared. So I will be making another one and posting that one very soon. So I drew on a grid as you watched me. I used my compass. I just sort of picked a center. I didn't really measure it out. I just decided that's where I wanted the flower to start. And it's going to be embedded inside of the heart. So I put on my grid lines using a silicone mold or silicone template from, again, the Happy Dotting Company. And I used that to draw on where I wanted my lines. I used the compass to draw the half circles. And now I'm just putting on my design of how I want the flower and the petals and the leaves. And I'm only going to do this sort of like halfway, or I guess it's more like 3/4 of the way into the heart. And then the rest of it, I'm going to leave black. The reason why I do that is I'm putting on some glitter paint afterwards onto just the black part. So I'm doing a couple of different techniques here, and I just wanted to showcase this. And purple is the color of the flower. It is also my favorite color. So that's why I went with purple. I stayed away from the pinks and the reds because this was sort of my Valentine's to myself, if you will. So I am using a multitude of different colors, and then I'm blending them. So right now the color that I'm using is Purple Pizzazz, and it's by DecoArt. The background is primed with black by DecoArt, and I did 2 coats of that. I save you from watching me do that because it's really just painting the entire thing black, and that's it. So it's not really fun to watch. It's just part of the prep. If you want to see that, I can certainly include it in the next video. But yeah, it's just very basic. So now I'm using Eggplant by FolkArt. It's thicker than the DecoArt. So I did add a little bit of water to this just to thin it out just a little bit. So I only added like maybe, I think it was like 2 drops of water just to thin it out. And now I'm going in with Wisteria, which is a very light purple. It's almost like a white with a hint of purple in it. It's a very pretty color, and I'm using this by blending the what's it called? The eggplant color into the petals. So what I'm doing is I am basically putting a stripe at the top, just like I'm doing right there, and then I'm pulling it down into the eggplant, that really dark, dark purple. And when it dries, it has like dark near the bottom of the petals, and then it's lighter at the top of the petals. So it's one way to blend, but it also leaves like little streaks in it, so it gives the illusion of a petal. And that was what I was going for. So now I'm painting these petals in the Wisteria color. So you can see now that it is like almost white with a little tint of purple to it. And I wanted these to be just plain because I do decorate them a little bit later. And you'll see that when I get to that point. And I just paint all of these and I get as close to the other petals that I just finished as possible because I want these petals to appear like they're coming out from underneath or behind the actual flower. And the flower actually, when I get finished, it kind of reminds me of like those, what are they called? Like Johnny Pop-Ups. Or a purple pansy, something along that lines. I was so happy with the way that it turned out. I do some shading in the main part of the flower, and you'll see that shortly. I'm just waiting for it to dry so I can put my second coat on. With doing a painting on a black background and you're trying to use bright colors, the black does sort of dull the paint. So I should have or could have painted this white and then not have to worry about doing 2 or 3 coats. But I really wanted the background to be black so that I could get some of that black to come through when I was doing sort of my blending with the brush. And this is just a regular brush. It's a very small round tip, and that's what I used for this whole thing. I do use a blending brush for the main petals on the first layer of the flower, but I will show you how I use that when I get to that point. I'm just watching along on what I'm doing now. So I've moved on to the leaves, and the first green that I used was apple tart. And then I painted with mint green. Both of these are from Craft Smart, so it's the Michaels brand. And I'm doing the same thing as what I did with those purple leaves. So I'm just putting a stripe on the top, and then I'm just working it down into the darker green. So I'm pulling that light green paint into the darker paint and the darker green, and I'm letting some of those parts that are the black shining through, I'm leaving some of those. So it gives that a texture look kind of. And then the last leaf that I do is a very dark leaf. And the color that I'm using here is holly green, and it's by DecoArt. I just want to let you know too that if I forget to let you know what color that I'm using, they are all listed in my description as well. So the brand names and then the name of the paint. But these are just suggestions. I'm not saying that you need to go out and purchase these paints so that you can do it identical to mine. That's totally up to you. I strongly urge that you use whatever you have in your own inventory and make your own colors, do your own blending. You don't even have to do a purple rock, so that you can, or sorry, a purple flower. You can do a blue flower or a red flower, a pink flower, whatever color you want to do. I decided to do purple only because purple's my favorite color. I find it very soothing. I am drawn to anything purple. It's almost weird. It's like a magnetic field that if I'm in a store and I see something purple, I go straight to it. I'm very drawn to purple. So I've got the first coat of those dark leaves on, and I'm going to let those dry, and I'm going to move back to the first petals that I painted. And I'm putting on the second coat. This is purple Pizzazz that I'm putting on there. And now I'm using my blending brush, and I'm adding in the Wisteria. So I'm not using white, I'm using Wisteria, and I'm just blending it from the center and moving it up. And this is when it starts to really resemble like a pansy. This was good practice for me because another tutorial that I am working on is a one stroke pansy because it's a one stroke violet. That's the February flower. So that will be coming out very shortly as well. So stay tuned for that. If you're new, please subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos that I post. And if you like this video, the best and easiest way to let me know is by giving me the thumbs up. You could always leave me a comment too. I do reply to every comment that is put in to the comments. I love learning about you. I love hearing about what you liked and what you didn't like. Maybe you have other suggestions that you would like to see me try. I read them all. So make sure that you send me a little Valentine's happy day down in the comments below. So as I was talking, I put on some little dots there. Don't worry, those will disappear. I did not like them. I put them on. I kind of wanted it to look like there was little sprigs of, I want to say like the buds or something like that, but it didn't work the way that I wanted it to, or I had envisioned it. So they do disappear. Don't worry, they don't stick around. But right now, I am doing some outlining and I'm using that eggplant color. I'm not using black. I really wanted to stick with the color of the flower, and this gives a nice kind of shading or separation of the two, or of the leaves of the petals. They're not leaves, they're petals. Oh boy, I'm using all sorts of terminology here that's incorrect. So please forgive me. I admit that they are incorrect, so you don't need to correct me in the comments. So I'm working on the petals of the flower. I'm using Eggplant by FolkArt to do the outlining. I am not using black. So I just added a few little thin lines into the petals, and I really look how that turned out. So like the petals, the first petals of the flower, where it starts off really light and then it creeps up to the dark color, and then it shows a shadow almost because I outlined it everything in that eggplant color. And the center of the flower is also eggplant, and I used a tool from the dotting center. All the descriptions of these different places that I purchase things are in the description below, and they include links so that you can click on them and get easy access to where they are. So I try to make it as simple and as easy as possible for you, because I just know that sometimes trying to search the web for things like this is, there's so many, like there's oodles and noodles and oodles of different companies out there. So I thought I would make it easy for you, so it's a one click and you're there. I am not affiliated with any of them. I'm just an advocate for their product because I use it. I am not being paid in any way to endorse their product. I'm passing on to you what I've learned, and it's just what I really enjoy. So, and I've worked with them for many years. The molds, I still have my very first molds that I purchased years ago, and they still make beautiful art stones for me to paint on. So the product is absolutely amazing from the Happy Dotting Company. My dotting tools, again, I love them. I use them all the time. They're my go-tos. I do have other ones that I use periodically, but those are my favorites. I love how they fit in my hand, and they're just amazing. So go and check them out. You decide for yourself. This is just what works best for me. So you saw that I put like these little stripes in the wisteria petals. I'll explain now, even though it's already done, I'll explain now how I did this. So I loaded up my fine lining brush, and I made sure that it was really loaded. And when I put the paintbrush onto the rock, I pushed down on it so that I got like a dot, or like a rounded edge. And then I pulled it towards the point of the petal. And as I was pulling it, I was lifting up at the same time. So that way I got a nice point. And I did that on every single one. Now, it does take some practice, getting the right pressure every single time. I am still practicing. As you can tell, some of my stripes are a little bit thicker than the other, but that's okay. If you look at a flower, it is never 100% perfect. So neither should your art. That's what I'm saying, is that your art, for it to make it very authentic and yours, we're not machines, so we can't be perfect. And that's the whole point of being able to do art, is to put your own spin on it, add your own colors, and it actually becomes a part of you. So know that when you're painting, you're actually making it something that's direct from you. And that's what makes it perfect. So just remember that when you're doing your paintings. So the second or the first leaf that I did underneath the flower, I added some more of that apple tart, but I just did like a line on the top because I really wanted the edges of that flower to really shine. Sorry, of the petals. No, I'll try again. Of the leaves. There's so many parts to this. So yeah, I used some apple tart and I just did it on the top. And then I'm going back in with some of my Kelly green. No, sorry, it's holly green that I'm using. And I am just sort of cleaning up the edges, making sure everything is nice and sharp. And then I do go in, actually, I will be doing that the next step with some more of that holly green. No, sorry. I'm going to be using the apple tart on top of, oh, I'm mixing up the colors. Okay, I'm going to tell you again. So the light green leaves are actually mint green and apple tart. So the mint green is the top swipe that I did. And then on the bottom leaves, that's the holly green. And I'm using holly green right now to put in the veins of the leaves on the light colored leaves. And then I take the apple tart and I put in an outline into those darker bottom leaves. Does that make sense? Did I really screw y'all up? I'm so sorry. There's just so many colors, like I said, that in this particular painting that I used. Even I'm having a hard time keeping them separated. And I do apologize if I have totally messed everything up. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope that Valentine's Day is a great day for you, even if it's just another day. Where I am, it is very, very cold, but the sun is out shining, and that's a good thing. That means no more snow because we've had a lot of snowfall, and I know there's more coming, but for right now, the sun is out while I am speaking to you, and it's beautiful. It looks so warm. I know it's not, but it looks warm. So I really hope that you're enjoying today, even if it's just a regular day. I personally don't think that you need to be told what day you can let your loved ones know that you love them. I think that you can do that at any time. So there goes those dots. Like I said, I got rid of them. I didn't like them, and I'm just painting over top of the design that I made with my General's charcoal pencil, because I want this to be as black as possible without any imperfections. So when I put on the glitter paint, it really, really shines. But before I do that, I gotta do a nice outline in my Glorious Gold by DecoArt. So I found that this really finished it off. It really encased that heart and really made that flower pop. And if you think it pops now, wait to the end after I resin it. I'm telling you, this thing like totally lifts off the rock. It's so pretty. It's my favorite out of all of the ones that I've done. for this Valentine's Day. We'll call it a little mini series for Valentine's Day rocks, or the little magnets that I made. I had a lot of fun doing this. There were so many other designs I wanted to do, but time just did not allow. And that's okay. That means that I've got a bunch of ideas for next year that I can share with you. So now what I'm doing is I'm just sort of cleaning up that gold paint, straightening it out. Some of the lines got a little bit crooked when I was doing the painting because my paintbrush just was a little bit too loaded, and that's okay. Beauty of acrylic paint, you just let it dry and then you go back in and you fix it up. So that's why I love the acrylic paint so much, and it dries quick, so you can do this very quickly. You don't have to wait for hours and hours for it to dry. So and if you wanted to go even faster, you can certainly throw a hairdryer on it, or a heat gun, or something like that you have in your craft room or wherever. It does make the paint dry a lot faster. So there is that option as well. So the stuff that I'm putting on right now is sparkle varnish, and I've used this in many other videos that I've done. I love the way that it looks once it's been resined, and that's why I'm using it. It goes on kind of like a milky color, as you can see a little blob there, and it does dry fairly quickly, and you can see that it is actually changing the color of the black, so it's giving it a shine. So that's what I wanted. I actually did 2 coats of this to get lots of glitter on it and let it dry, and then I gave it a couple of coats of resin, and it's finished. It turned out so beautiful, and I really hope that you like it as much as I do. So happy Valentine's Day to everyone, and remember folks, life is what you make it. So get creative.